Welcome to the Charleston CFO Council. This organization was co-founded in 2015 by Robert Bendetti and Mark Carmichael in order to provide a networking and educational forum for senior financial executives to share best practices, to discuss current financial issues, and to learn about current topics related to the performance of their job.
Jackie, good morning. How are you doing today?
Great. Good morning to you.
Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I am looking forward to getting to talk to you and learn a little bit more about you. Jackie is the CFO at the Palmetto Goodwill. And before we started, I was telling you how surprised I was at how large of an enterprise Goodwill is. I love the Goodwill, and it's a great place to get great deals and to support the community. But I had no idea not only your group of Goodwills was as big as it is, but the parent organization, the international organization, is as big. Can you share that again, Jackie? That was fascinating.
Sure. So Goodwill, the Palmetto Goodwill that I'm with, we're a $60 million enterprise. We have over 1,400 team members. And when so there's 159 other Goodwill organizations in the country. We're bound by territory. We're all separate 501c3s. So we don't roll up to the parent. What we do is we share all our information with Goodwill Industries International. And once you start rolling us all together, we end up being a $5 billion enterprise. So yeah, it's pretty impressive. We love having Goodwill Industries International. Again, they help us on the Hill, they keep the brand strong. And then I have 159 other CFOs that I can always reach out at any time and chat with if I have questions.
Well, that's awesome. And you've been with Goodwill for a while. If I've stalked you on the internet appropriately, then I think you're coming at almost 20 years with Goodwill. And before being in Charleston, you were in Wisconsin. And did you go to the University of Wisconsin Oshkosh? Is that correct?
It's correct. I'm just not sure if you're getting the accent right. Do you want me to say it for you? It's Wisconsin.
Please. Wisconsin. Well, thank you very much for doing this. And let's get right into it. Let's question number one, Jackie. What is your favorite business book and why?
All right. Well, I have two. And I always think about my leadership in two sides, so results and relationships. So on the relationship side, I have this book to share with you. So it's called The Servant, a simple story about the true essence of leadership. And it's by James Hunter. And it's one of those fable tales. And it talks all about servant leadership, how you need to serve, love, sacrifice for your team. And again, it's a fable. It's an easy read, but it really is to the essence of what I think is leadership. So I really enjoy that one. And then my second book is The Four Disciplines of Execution. And that's by Chris McChesney and Sean Covey. And it's all about taking your strategy and actually executing on it. So we all learn in business school, right, how to do a strategic plan, and we can write them lovely, but how do we actually go forward and make sure we're executing, and how do we engage an entire team, right? Not just the leadership, but how do we engage those on the front line? So had the pleasure of actually working through a lot of the details in this book with the team in Wisconsin, and really found it to be very, very helpful in driving, again, results.
Ooh, bring in a twofer, excellent recommendation. And I'm going to check the book on servant leadership. I hadn't read that one before. I'm going to check that out. Well done, Jackie. Question number two. What is the best advice that you have ever received?
So again, back to leadership. I was privileged to serve with a leader who talked a lot about transparency, being authentic, and leading from your heart. So I've really always taken that advice forward. It's oftentimes as leaders, I think we feel like we have to know it all and we have to be, perfect in everything we do. And, if something's emotional, we shouldn't be showing that because we're the leaders. And I just really took to heart the fact that I had to find my own way of leading. And again, sometimes things are emotional, and it's okay to be vulnerable with folks, and it's okay to show that you're having a tough time, and to be truthful and respectful, and tell people what's going on so that they know. Again, it's been so valuable, I think, in my leadership journey to really be with people as we're going through, especially consider the pandemic itself, right? And how challenging this has been. And it's okay to, again, say, yeah, it's challenging. We're going to get through, but I'm willing to be open with you about the things I can and share those things, even the tough stuff.
Jackie, what about a tool that you've recently started using or a habit that you've recently picked up that you found beneficial?
So too, you can see kind of behind me, I have the whiteboard. So actually when I came to Charleston, I went old school, right? I decided I needed a whiteboard to manage my projects. So I rewrite it on a monthly basis, keeps things in front of me. Also allows me to think about, again, is this something I should be working on? Is this something I should be giving to the team? And I went back to the Franklin Covey planner too, because I just found that I could do a much better job of organizing my time and resources and getting things done in those chunks if I went back to the planner. And the third thing, bonus topic, right? I did purchase now a stand-up desk. I've got to get it here and organized and all of that. But, with the start of the new year, it was time to, maybe make some other changes that would also be healthy. My husband's been doing it for a while. He said it's absolutely great. Takes care of getting rid of aches and pains. So I'm going to try that too.
That's good advice. I think there's something to standing up and moving around. You get the blood flowing. You take in oxygen differently, and just the change of location. It's amazing. I think getting up and going on a walk is even better, but standing up and working, I think, is a great idea. And Jackie, I got the whole notebook with the writing in it too. We're old school, but it works. Whatever works for you. If maybe you're a digital. Oh, you're gonna write it, but write it digitally. Fine, but you got to write it. And Jackie, remember to import the budget. I see that as an important item in your January list of things to do. Make sure you get that done.
Yeah, I will.
Speaking of your current job, what is your favorite part of your current job?
This is probably going to come to no surprise to you, but it is actually working for a not-for-profit. I spent my early years in public accounting, loved it, learned a lot, wouldn't trade it for the world. But once I moved into the not-for-profit arena, I finally kind of put my head and heart together. And that's what really has been so wonderful for me. It took me, I went to one other not-for-profit before I came to Goodwill. Once I got to Goodwill, I said I came home. It hits on a number of cylinders for me. First off, it's obviously I'm coming here for a purpose, again, to get people educated, giving them a step up, a hand up, not a hand out, helping with their education, jobs, all of that. But the other side of it for me really is I'm a tree hugger. So I love the recycling aspect of it. I just love the fact that, again, we buy a lot of stuff in this country and it has to go somewhere. And sometimes it just needs a second chance and someone else to love it. So I love that part of it. And then, of course, big thrift shopper. So I think that's amazing as well, that there is that, again, ability for folks to find really great deals. That's cool, too. So it just hits on everything for me, and just there's not a day that I don't come to work and feel good about what I'm doing.
What a good point. It's often lost that it's reduce, reuse, and recycle as a last effort. People think like, oh, I'm going to lead with recycling. No. It's actually just reduce, reuse. That's where you come in, and recycle if there's no other means necessary. Really good point and good reminder, Jackie. How about something personal that you wouldn't mind sharing about yourself with the rest of the CFO Council?
Sure. So married 31 years, have 3 children. I've got 2 girls and a boy. They're all in Wisconsin yet. So that's one of the hardest things about being in Charleston, is having the kids north, but we do visit quite often. Hobby-wise, I think one of the something that's real interesting that I love is gardening. So actually did get my Master Gardener certificate. when I was up in Wisconsin, which really does me absolutely no good in Charleston because the climate is completely different. So I do have to get that updated for down here, but love growing things, tending to plants. So although we don't have a yard, I've got 2 porches that are full of plants.
Well, the gardening season has to be longer in Charleston than in Green Bay,
Yes.
or the Wisconsin, wherever you were in the Wisconsin area. So that's good. You just need some new skills, and you'll be making cucumbers in no time.
Absolutely.
Question number 6, last question. It happened so fast. Jackie, what is something that I didn't ask that I should have asked, and what's your answer to that?
I guess how could I connect closer with the CFO Council, and or what else would I love to get from it? And a couple of those things would be, I love all the education. I think it's amazing and so well done. And I certainly miss our time getting together because that's been one of the hardest things, is not actually getting to talk with folks. But I would love to be able to serve with folks too. I came into Charleston, year 1's kind of getting yourself acclimated to the new place. Year 2 was supposed to be, hey, now let's get acclimated to the community itself and get connected in. And that sort of didn't happen because of COVID. So I'm hoping in this new year, and with maybe some of the CFO Council, to find some additional places to serve. Again, I love the environmental. I love being outside. I would love to serve with some folks on some projects. So I would love to be able to connect with anybody that's got some projects that they're looking to do maybe in community, and do some of that in this, as soon as we get past this COVID pandemic that we're currently in.
Well, that is a call to action, folks. Reach out to Jackie and suggest boards to serve on, or different charities in the community that she could be involved in. I think that there are some really awesome ones in the Charleston area, and they need awesome people like Jackie. So that's so fantastic. I'm noticing a theme here, Jackie. You're making me feel bad about myself. You're this servant leadership and giving back to the community. I heard several times, both in your personal life and your professional life as a senior financial executive of a nonprofit, how you throughout, there's a common theme that you're serving your fellow man in the community. And so I thank you, and I thank you for taking the time to speak with me today.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Have a great day.
You too.